Right.
you were just talking about your life, and then they saw something about their own life
Yeah.
Right.
that now all of a sudden was like
Yeah.
Yeah.
upsetting.
Right.
And so it might take a little while for them to iron that out.
I know.
You see,
That's
so
what-
what you did was probably highly effective.
Well,
Sometimes things that are revealed to you can be painful, like when God come
Yeah.
and revealed to me, or helped me to reveal to myself, that I was busy wanting houses and cars and accolades and gold medals and national anthem playing and Wheaties boxes, rather than the fruit of the Spirit.
Yeah.
Listen, man, that didn't feel so good when that happened. No way. I was busy thinking all this time I was serving God.
Right.
But then God says, listen, man, didn't Paul say that God neither dwells in temples made with man's hands, nor is God worshipped by men's hands? We're so consumed thinking something we're going to do through our own hands is how we're going to worship God. But Jesus said God is spirit. And so those who worship God must worship Him in spirit, even in truth. What that means is God is spirit. Within God is the Holy Spirit. That Holy Spirit is the Spirit of truth. And if you want to worship God, you believe on the truth that dwells in Him. That's the only way you can do it. That's what Jesus was talking about. We're so busy thinking we worship. Listen, I'm not worshiping God through this ministry. That's not what's going on here.
Right.
This ain't me worshiping God. You can't worship God through some ministry. You can't worship God through your service. You can't worship God by loving people. Those are all the fruit of worshiping God. You see?
Right.
Big difference. You worship God by believing the testimony He has given in His Son. That's how you worship God. Why? Because He is spirit. And those who worship Him must worship Him in spirit, even in truth. The King James says spirit and truth. That word "and" is even. So worship Him in spirit, even truth. It's an expounding on what it means to worship Him in spirit. So when it says worship Him in spirit and truth, the "and truth" is an expounding on what it means to worship Him in spirit. You worship Him in spirit by believing on the truth that was made flesh in Jesus. You see?
Got it.
That's it. There's a period at the end of that. How do you worship God? You worship God by believing on the testimony He's given in His Son. Period. That's the only way you can worship God. Now, things can be born outside of your reverential awe of what He said and done in Jesus, but that's not worshiping Him. That's the fruit coming forth from you having been in reverential awe of Him. Right? Jesus defined worshiping God as being in the fear of the Lord. What is the fear of the Lord? The fear of the Lord isn't, I'm very scared. The fear of the Lord is you hear what He said in Jesus, and you're in awe, and you believe on it.
In the beginning of wisdom.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what it is to worship God.
Right.
That's what it means to worship God. Jesus said the true worshipers. Who were the false worshipers? The Pharisees. How were they worshiping God?
With the
Works of their hands.
With their hands.
Yeah.
God even, when Moses went up the mountain, and God says, Moses, take off your shoes. You're standing on holy ground. What was He saying? That the ground had never sinned and lived right? No. Exactly. The word holy means set apart. What God was saying is that Moses, you're standing on ground that's been set apart to my spirit of grace. If you want to worship me or fellowship with me, take off your shoes, because your shoes have been made by men's hands.
That's good.
Even when He had